Hello again, welcome back everyone. LiquorHound here with you, and thank you for joining me once again for another spirit review video. Now today we're going to be taking a look at another Doc Swinson's. This is of course, an independent bottler coming out of Washington State. Now what they're doing is they were able to source some 15-year-old Kentucky Bourbon. They are not allowed to say what it is, but it's reportedly Heaven Hill. Okay, and I know Heaven Hill was moving off some totes a few years back, and that's probably what we're looking at here. Now each release is considered a batch. I know they were selling them in totes. So totes are these big steel framed tanks, and they'll put, you know, barrels, dump barrels into this tote. And then for this release, batch 7, it says it was 4,010 bottles, 27 barrels, so more than likely 3 totes full, but you know, that's what went into this blend. And the one thing I'll say is that, you know, I did taste another independent bottler of the same type of situation that was just bottling individual totes. I think the blends, you know, just you can balance more when you're working with more. You can tend to balance more. Okay, so that's the one thing they have going for them. Batch 7, bottled at 109.8 proof, retail pricing about $145. So this is not on the cheap end, but we're going to go ahead and taste it, go through it. Again, to date, I think batch 6 is probably my favorite. And then I did batch 9, and I've done those reviews already. Batch 9 was good after it opened up. It wasn't as good as 6, but that's where we were. Have not had a batch 8 yet. Just picked this up last week. Batch 7. So let's go ahead and get to it on the nose. Give it a little swirl so it coats the glass. Alright, here we go. Okay. This one is caramel brown sugar. It's a little medicinal on the nose. Almost like a citronella. Kind of reminds me of lemongrass a little bit. Cherry is the vibrant fruit. A little hint of plums in there. Ooh, yeah, right there. Cedar. There's a little cedar tone to it. That's pretty. Cedar is playing in with that herbal characteristic, and the herbalness. Ooh, it's almost rooty, but it's almost like a little bit of a, maybe a little spearmint and a little oregano, maybe a little hint of thyme in there. Big oak. There's a big oak note going. It's pretty sweet vanilla. It's almost getting a little bit of coconut developing. This bottle has been open for now almost a week. Yeah, about a week. So it's developing a coconut note that was not there initially. I've not been gassing it. I'm letting it develop to see what happens. The citronella that I picked up early is kind of burning off a little bit. So as it opens up, that little note kind of turns more into that little herbal spearmint, thyme, oregano thing. But wow, that vanilla and coconut are really coming along. Alright, let's give it a taste. There is a little bit of a licorice. There was a little bit of a star anise in here. Almost fennel, but nope. Star anise. We'll go with that one. Alright, here we go. (109.8). This is much lower proof than batch 6 or batch 9. Wow. I mean, it's pretty dangerous. 109.8. A little bit of a citrus characteristic to it. But as it enters, really soft caramel, a little brown sugar, almost a little cola-esque type thing. A little cola note going on. Then you start picking up that little kind of cherry, plum element starts developing. Then you start ramping up. A little bit of the spices start coming in. The oak starts coming in a little early as well. Yep. Cherries, plums, little citrus spritz in there. And I would call it just a little bit of a lemon twist. Big spices coming on the mid palate, cinnamon, clove. Then you get that, as it starts dropping, that's when the oak starts arriving, and it starts getting big and it starts swelling with the oak. Thing I like about it is there's enough vanilla and that coconut on the back end that kind of keep it bright and keep it from really starting to get too tannic or drying. But it lingers a long time on that vanilla coconut oak note. The brown sugar, the caramel, that kind of entered really soft, go throughout the whole thing. That provides just the right amount of sweetness for me. That little citronella tone that I was picking up, that kind of herbal medicinal characteristic on the nose, does come through a little bit in the background on the palate. Some would call this, when you get that kind of characteristic, the citronella, and you start mixing in kind of an herbal tone, some people, that little combination can be reminiscent of bug spray. Okay, some people would say that's a little bit of this might have a little bit of that in there. To me, I can pull out that kind of that citronella is in there, but as far as it feeling like chemically or anything like that, I don't get that. I can actually start focusing a little more on the herbal tone, and you can start picking out that little spearmint. And again, that little, it's like a little oregano and thyme, which is weird, kind of odd, but it's in there. It's just in the background. But that's pretty much all the notes I get on it. Viscosity-wise, medium, just above medium viscosity. I do like that little lemon oil essence that it has in there. Kind of helps it stay a little more vibrant and not just feel like a tired 15-year-old Kentucky bourbon. There is some little bit of a roasted nut characteristic in there as well. A little bit of a dusting of cocoa on the back end. Wow, yeah. But, you know, overall, at 109.8 proof, I think I kind of like it. Now, the price point, not a huge fan of it, because many people have pointed out, you know, Knob Creek 15s were around, you know, just a year or so ago, and we were getting those at like $50, $60. And here we are at $145. That's the only drawback to this one. But if you can't get hold of those, then maybe you give one of these a shot and kind of see where you're at. I don't think you're not going to feel super disappointed. You might feel like, you know, this would have been a lot better at $100, but overall, I think this is another good release from them. It's not the best, but again, if you can't get it, if you're looking for something just a smidge more special, this may be the way to go. Batch 7, Doc Swinson's, coming out of Washington. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video review. Of course, my patrons are going to get a 2-week head start on this video, so you know they're going to go start looking for these bottles probably as quickly as they can if they're interested in it. So if you want to join us over there at patreon.com/LiquorHound, you're going to get these reviews ad-free. But if you can't do that, don't worry about it. I greatly appreciate all my YouTube viewers. Keep leaving all those great comments. I will get to them just as soon as I can. Thank you all as always, and cheers.